on the Texas A&M Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to the Aggie Football Hour, brought to you by Capital Farm Credit, a leader in agricultural financing. Also brought to you in part by Coors Light, Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Twisted Tea, hard iced tea for the 12th man. Please drink responsibly. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. Through it all. And by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. Now, the Aggie Football Hour, brought to you by Capital Farm Credit, a leader in agricultural financing. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco.
At 7-0 and 4-0 in SEC play, the Fighting Texas Aggies take on the LSU Tigers on Saturday in Baton Rouge. Ranked number 3 are the Aggies. But apparently I'm not supposed to say any of that because that's usually when Mike knocks on the table.
There you go again.
Alongside.
Hey, seems like you got a no-hitter going after 2 batters.
Perfect game, Coach. No one's gotten a hit.
No one.
The Aggies. How about this one? The Aggies are looking to go 1-0 on Saturday against LSU.
Another opportunity. Another opportunity to fill the bucket this week and go put our best foot forward down in Tiger Stadium.
It is the Aggie Football Hour. It's with Mike Elko, and it's presented by Capital Farm Credit. Coming off the win over Arkansas, 45-42 last Saturday in a slightly delayed game, and in a game that the Aggies found another way to win. And those games are so much better when you find a way to win than it is when you find a way to lose, correct?
Yeah, one of the first things I learned in coaching was winning is a lot better than losing, all the way around. And how people view you, how people think about you, how people talk about you, how your players feel, everything just feels better when you win. And so we always want to do that. That's always kind of been the mission ever since I figured that out. But you mentioned the delay. I do want to give a shout-out to our operations team. We did a phenomenal job in the hotel. We were able to get on that stuff really early, push back our pregame meal, really keep our players in the routine and rhythm that we would like to have been in for a later kick, and did a really good job organizing some different things at the hotel to get the bodies moving. And so it just really did. Our operations team did a really good job with that.
That started Friday, did it not, the communication between both schools?
Yeah. We started to kind of get wind like Thursday night, like this could be bad. We're not really sure what's going to happen. And then I think Friday, the first thing I do with the team when they come in on Friday is just kind of set the tone for the weekend and what to expect, what's going on, how it's all going to run. And one of the things that we mentioned was, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. Kick time might get delayed. We might be in the locker room, might be in the hotel, but, no matter what, at some point they're going to put a ball down, and we better be ready to play when that happens. And so the kids were aware, and it was good. I think the whole thing went about as good as it could possibly go. Football
teams, athletic departments, ESPN's got to know. The conference has to know, right? So that's the thing. But as you say, you prepare. We had talked about, footballs are going to be wet. We practice that. You prepare for as much as you possibly can when it comes to that. Then you go out there, and it turns out to be a perfectly dry day. And the field, the Arkansas field crew did a phenomenal job, and the field was in great shape. And it just turned out to be a really good day. It really did. And the Aggies get the win 45-42. Let's talk about some of your players of the week from that day. And in your offensive line, you've talked about a man who is as strong as anybody that you've ever coached, to Chase Basantis on that offensive line. Yeah. Once again, that O-line did a heck of a job. Yeah, they do. They're starting to really play to their level. I think they're starting to really play to the level that they're capable of, and I think they're controlling games with how they're protecting the quarterback, how they're protecting the line of scrimmage, obviously our ability to run the football, but we've done such a better job the last 2 weeks of staying within the chains, not having those negative plays, not having those sacks, and I think when we can do that, the combination of skill kids that we have with Marcel with his arm and his legs, we become really challenging to kind of slow down and corral when we get in really bad yardage situations. Obviously, then it makes it a lot easier. And so hats off to those guys, all of them. And obviously Chase had a really big game. Trey had a stranglehold on that Offensive Lineman of the Week award for a while, and I think Chase has really upped his game and is really starting to push him. And I think Crownover is really playing at a high level, and all of those guys really are. Amaje Reed Adams
Adams is starting to come back into form after his offseason shoulder surgery, and so the group is playing really, really well.
Did Trey play 3 different positions on Saturday?
I know he played 2 for
center.
sure. I know he played left tackle and center for sure. I don't know if he moved anywhere else. I know for sure he played left tackle and center.
We were talking during one of the podcasts that we were able to do with him, and he always refers to that offensive line, and he knows the young players, but he says the 7 of us. And I think people have to understand that Ruben Father is a starter who just doesn't happen to be starting.
Yeah.
And Coley is a starter who just but you are able to rotate all of them, and then you bring in Robert Borden when you need an extra lineman, and you've got guys who are ready as well on that O-line. That keeps them fresh, does it not?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you talk about the rigors of a long season, and I look at it from a defensive perspective. No defense plays 11 kids the duration of the game.
Right.
And the reason isn't because we don't clearly have 11 of the better players. We know who those guys are, but everyone is better when they're fresh, right? And so although Chase Basantis is playing really well, that one series off he gets in the first half to just catch his breath, get his legs back underneath him, like you don't think about it as a big deal, but those 7-8 snaps, it's a big deal. And when you have the depth to not lose a beat, to be able to function at the level you want to, which is the critical part of it, to be able to function at the level you want to function at, that's best for everybody. It keeps people engaged. It keeps people going. It keeps practice great. It keeps people healthy and fresh. I think all of those things play such a big role in what we're doing. Yeah. People talk about, and I'm sure he's on your list, but like you think about like E.J. Smith and wow, he looks like he's running hard. Well, part of it is he hasn't had to carry the ball 120 times at this point, right? Like that's a part of it, and that's not to take anything away from him. He's doing phenomenally. But when you can pull out a running back in week 7 and he's really fresh and rip-roaring, ready to go, like that's a big difference than a guy who's got a shoulder and a knee and an ankle and he's battling through it and he's the only guy you have. And I think all of that helps add to us staying healthy and fresh throughout the year.
And with that offensive line doing what they're doing, it allows Marcel, who was also the offensive player of the week, but that running back room, Ruben in the game he had. EJ on the 4th down was huge. Jamarian Morrow with some big carries. And Amari Daniels, and just that experience and talent in that room is able to shine as well.
Yeah, for sure. And in a lot of different ways, and a lot of them are unsung ways. And so obviously, Ruben has stepped into the primary ball carrier role, and he had another good game with 2 touchdowns and did some really nice things and made some catches too. And then, EJ kind of goes in and he's the next guy to kind of spell him. And Jamarian kind of has his role in the different things we do with him. And then Amari Daniels is probably the most unsung one of the group because all he does is go in there and pick up every blitz they try to run on 3rd down, right? And he's the one that hits every blitz and linebacker right between the chin and protects Marcel and keeps him healthy. And he was able to get a catch and a couple runs. And I think you saw the other thing that you saw about the room is how competitive it is. And so, early on, Amari gets the one and he finds a defender and runs him over. And then EJ gets his opportunity later in the game, and we don't miss contact in the running back room. And so, there's a mentality that those kids play with. It's great to see.
Amari's hit at midfield kind of set the tone.
It sure did.
You let Arkansas know, you know what, 60 minutes
it's a different kind of game when you're playing the Aggies these days. And so, it was good to see.
And I'm just happy for a guy like Amari Daniels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he's come from and where he is now is way more complete.
Yeah, and again, like I always bring it up because I think it's so important, because I know it's important to the people in here and it's important to the Aggies, but like it's just important to continue to hear, like, not every kid is selfish. Not every kid is just looking for their own. Not every, like, I know that's what we have to say on social media because it's so catchy, but it's literally in the inside, when you're doing it right, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't. And we have a lot of kids in our program who are just giving everything they have to Texas A&M football.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us proud. That's what they're thriving off of. And to the fans out there, that's what should make you proud about this group.
Is what I love is if you talk to the running backs, and let's say you're talking about Ruben and you talk about Le'Veon, or you talk to Jamarian about Ruben, they all go, that's my guy.
Yeah.
A.J. Denota, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Right? You love that.
Yeah.
Right? Because they know exactly what they're going through, and they push one another, do they not?
And that's, again, and we talk about this all the time, too. And I think some of our success comes from being really open and really honest. Like, we have a lot of open and honest conversations. We don't lie to kids. Like, we didn't tell EJ last offseason, like, hey, come back. You're going to be the featured back. Right. We're going to give you 200. Like, we don't tell them that. Like, we tell them, hey, it's a crowded room. We want you back. You're going to have an opportunity to compete. We're going to carve out a role. We think you're a really talented player. There's going to be an opportunity. You know how the running back position goes. You can be the starter. You can be number 4. I don't know. But we're going to give you an opportunity to compete, and that's what we did. And so, we always say this, like, we can agree to disagree on where you're ranked because everyone thinks they should be ranked number one. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll always agree to disagree, but you'll never say that I lied to you. You never say that we didn't tell you what it was. And those things go an awful long way when you're talking to kids and how they do things. And so then that builds that camaraderie and it's healthy competition. Like, everybody knows everybody wants the ball. Everybody knows everybody wants to be the starter. Everybody, like, that's all a given when you talk about high-level college football. But we have to do it together, because at the end of the day, it's not his fault that he got more carries than you. Right. Like, come see me. If you got a problem, I'll be the bad guy for all of it. And it just works when you're honest with people.
And because players recruit players, Mike, now EJ says, Mike was honest with me.
Yeah,
if you're going to come here, he's going to be honest with you. And what you always say, do you want to hear what you want to hear, or do you want to hear the truth?
Yeah.
Right? But now it's on the player. The burden then becomes on the player.
There's no doubt. And I say this in recruiting all the time. Like, I learned a long time ago that the streets are a lot better at selling a program than the kids. And the coaches, rather, excuse me. The streets do a way better job than the coaches do. Yep. And we can say all the right things. We're politicians when it comes to recruiting. We can say the right things at the right time. We're phenomenal at it. But when you go to the real people and you try to get the real story, and I encourage every kid we recruit to do this. I say, you go find somebody who tells you I didn't tell him exactly how it was.
Right.
I said, when you go find somebody who tells you, like, it wasn't exactly what I told you it was going to be. NIL, playing time, opportunity, how we run a program, how we treat you, how we develop you, all of it. Just go find somebody who tells you it's not what I said it was. And we hold our hat on that, and it's really, really important to us.
We are just getting started, and we're off and running from Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. It's the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. We want to tell you to play the Texas Lottery today for your chance to win exciting prizes. And remember, luck happens to people like Francis Lynch, who keep a lookout for chances to win from the Texas Lottery. Francis won Texas A&M prizes. You could too. Texas Lottery supports Texas education and veterans. Scratch 'em tickets and gig 'em. Come on back to Rudy's, the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. It's Aggie Football from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by Community Coffee, the official coffee and freshly brewed tea of Texas A&M Athletics. Start every game day with a great tasting cup of Community Coffee. Discover more at communitycoffee.com. We continue. It's the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko. It is presented by Capital Farm Credit. Coach, are you ready from where they're checking in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Mom checked in already.
Mom checked in already. Talk to her again on the way over.
Okay, yeah, always first. Now that Michelle is here, and that's way better.
Yep.
That is
way better. Can we not skip over that? Let's make sure we
lots of A's,
that.
Lots of Y's, and way better.
Yes, having your wife with you is much better than having your wife in North Carolina.
Could not agree more. College Station in Los Fresnos, Liberty Hill, Malakoff, Corpus Christi, the Woodlands, Katy and Lucas, that's just in the state. Petersburg, Illinois, Las Cruces, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Tampa, Cape Canaveral in Florida, Indiana, Byron, Illinois, Buffalo, New York, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Missouri. Austin is checking in from Belize.
Okay.
In Central America.
Sure.
And James, who misses the show and always watches a replay on YouTube, live in Bangkok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we're going.
Okay.
Where we're going.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone got in touch with me on Twitter and had a question.
All right.
And it does. Purple Fabuloso is the Twitter handle.
Purple Fabuloso. That sounds like a very good question.
Yeah, I love it. And from San Antonio?
Okay.
I got it immediately. But he lives in Spring. How much control or influence do you have over when a team starts to peak, or is that something you can even control?
That's a good question. It's probably coaches would tell you they have more control over it than we actually do. You never pace the peak. Right. And so if your team comes out of the blocks really well, you don't go, hey, like, whoa, slow down a little bit. We don't want to play good yet. When they're not playing at their peak, you're just constantly chipping away, trying to get them there. It's not like you go, okay, hey, like first 2 games this year we didn't play maybe at our peak, and so I want to target week 6, and on week 6 I want to play our best. Like, it's just kind of like you just go to work and you just chip away at what you think you have to do to get better, and it's always a moving target, like always a moving target, and you do the best you can to get them ready and each and every week, and that's probably the right answer to that.
Should it always be going like this? as the season goes on?
You'd like it to, but like every success track, it's never linear, right? Like, if you look at our we talk about the human psychology of life, right? And it plays itself out in football. Offensively, things are going really well. We go up to Notre Dame, we have a great game, and then we hit a little bit of a rut at times over the next few weeks, and then bam, Arkansas, right? And we play near perfect football on offense. And then defensively, we have our struggles early. We get into our rhythm, and we play 3 really, really good games in a row at home. And then Arkansas happens, and that's just you're constantly fighting human nature, human psychology. That's just part of the 18 to 21-year-old battle that we have as college coaches. And so you'd love it to do this.
Sure.
The reality of is in some ways it does. There's parts of it that do, but from a result standpoint, sometimes the results are a lot less even.
Because of the experience and leadership you have on your defense, and you said that you meet with them on Monday, obviously, was the message already there amongst themselves? Was it a message that you needed to relay to them? What along the lines of what did you have to say to them? Because they know how they played as well on Saturday. So how do you balance that as a coach of this isn't the standard?
Yep.
How do you balance that, and have you learned that from being a defensive coordinator and a head coach about how to deliver a message and what message to deliver?
Yeah, I think that's part of leadership, right? Part of leadership is identifying what is the right message at the right time, at the right moment to generate results. That's what it is, and I don't always get it right. I never will. No coach does, but I think that's part of it. And in terms of the defense, everybody thinks we had this big moment. Like, there's no big moment. Those kids walked into the locker room after the game, and before I even got in there, they were talking to each other about how that's unacceptable. We can't play. Like, everybody knows. Everybody knows what the standard is. Everybody knows what we're trying to accomplish. Everybody knows what didn't go right, and you got to work at fixing it. And I think you're very hard on the things that the players can control. You're very teachable on the things that need to improve and get better, or things that are football related, and you just try to go at it that way.
Talon Green's out of eligibility, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's really good, by the way.
He's really good. Now, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, because you're not a sugarcoat type of person.
I did not. So I'll tell you this before you even go down that road. So I walked into the defensive meeting, and the first thing I said to him in the defensive meeting was, just so we're clear, it does not matter who you play. If you play like that, you won't stop anybody. Now, if you play like that against a kid like Talon Green, what happens is you have a hard time putting the brakes on it, right? And so, I think coming out of the locker room, we really tried. I think in the second half, we were a much better team in terms of how we were playing, but we could not corral him, right? And that's the risk you take when you go out and you don't play a really good first half, and in a lot of ways you kind of give them 20 points on things that you mess up or you don't do to your level. Then all of a sudden you try to raise your level, and now here's this kid raising his level, and now you're in an SEC game against a really talented SEC player who's making plays, and you can't stop it, right? And that's always what we talk about, and that's part of what we showed them on Monday. Here's 8 plays that should never happen. Right. These 8 plays are us, and this is us playing football that's unacceptable. There's always going to be plays where the quarterback spins out of attack. Like, those have to be the successful ones only, though. If we take rid of these, and you can't take rid of those 8, but if you take away these 8 that we control, that's where good results come from.
But those field goals early instead of touchdowns ended up being big.
They ended up being big. They for sure did. Certainly the way they played out, and obviously the stop we got at the start of the second half. We created separation. We gave it away with 3 really bad drives, 2 on defense, 1 on offense at the end of the half. We came out, we got a good stop, scored, got a stop, scored to create the separation again. And then, offensively, we never let them close that separation that we recreated.
45-42, Texas A&M over Arkansas on Saturday. More of the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko, presented by Capital Farm Credit. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12thman.com/maroon contest and register. One winner and a guest receives game tickets, a VIP tour of Reed Arena. You'll be recognized on the video board during the game. Register today. 12thman.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. More from Rudy's as the Aggie Football Hour, presented by Capital Farm Credit, rolls on. This is Aggie Football from Learfield.
Aggies Can is celebrating 25 years of giving back to our local community. Bring your non-perishable food donations to Aggie home events between November 14th and 18th. Special thanks to Brookshire Brothers and HEB for partnering with our Student Athlete Advisory Committee in support of the Brazos Valley Food Bank and the 12th Can. Text Aggies Can to 83200 or visit 12thman.com/AggiesCan to learn more. A reminder that Mike has hit his limit. We're not doing a show next Wednesday.
Oh.
There's only so many in a row we can do.
That's right.
It's a
That's
bye
right.
week next
bye
week.
week next week. So
I can tell you that we will have the second Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan. We tip that off on Monday. And Joni Taylor's first show is Monday. Joni will go from 6 to 7, Bucky from 7 to 8. Aggie Basketball Hour with both those head coaches as we will preview the seasons coming up for basketball. And I loved your shout-out on Monday. Volleyball will be in Baton Rouge.
Volleyball Baton Rouge Friday night. Coach Morrison and the ladies going down there to get a win.
Absolutely lovely. And,
volleyball show next Wednesday.
Volleyball show will be next Wednesday. They get to take over for all of us on Wednesday. And I'm going to say this, way better looking than me. So
I'm going to not touch that one. I'm going to let you handle that one.
That's like teeing it up.
That's like teeing it up, and I just kind of walked right away from the tee box.
Rare for you.
Yep.
Very rare for you.
But
hey, we want to thank the generosity of 12th Man Foundation donors. Aggie student athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. Start your tradition of support today at 12thmanfoundation.com. Before I get to Marcel Reed, you know I love these stories. Brevion Rogers was your special teamer, and Brevion as a gunner, he took down a very good punt returner and then caused a penalty, which made that drive a lot longer. Brevion's another one of those guys who has accepted the role and understands all those ingredients that in the recipe of winning.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's another great example of just development in our program. And so he goes out there, he works every day at nickel. That's where he's playing, and working on his craft, working on getting better. But he's behind a really good player in Tariq Chappelle. And so he's continuing to work, continuing to get developed, and at some point he's going to show up at nickel, and we're going to need him to help us win a football game. But in the meantime, he's impacting winning, right? And he's having a huge impact on our ability to be successful with the plays he makes on special teams. And that's where he's at right now, and he's embraced it. And he goes out there, he gives us unbelievable effort. And the other one who is really close to being the special teams player of the week is Javon Thomas, who's another kid who's doing the same exact thing and is really going out there and having an impact for us on special teams.
These are guys that you've known for a while.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and they've been in our program, and again, it's a testament to who they are as people. I tell them that all the time, because there's not a coach that doesn't talk about these things. It's them making the choice that they want to live life like this, and we're very appreciative of it.
The Bridge is next, so you get a chance to meet a great crowd here at Rudy's.
Great crowd. Almost a sellout. I don't know if you can sell out Rudy's, but it appears as
we're
though
trying.
We're close to sold out.
We're absolutely trying. Trey Zune is the Bridge when we come back. And part of our Conversations podcast with Trey, and you'll hear it, if he ever feels sorry for the other team's left tackle having to go up against Cassius and TJ.
Oh, I bet he does.
We got Trey to laugh.
I bet we did.
Well. That's the Bridge. It's next when we continue. It's the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit, and this is Aggie Football from Learfield. The Bridge. It's brought to you by Capital Farm Credit. Okay, so is the Aggie Football Hour, brought to you by Capital Farm Credit, the largest agricultural lender in Texas. Capital Farm Credit. Together we're better, and we do. Pat Shields not here, but he left us with a question that we'll get in our second half hour. But the best thing I heard this week from my Conversations podcast, Trey Zune answering if he ever feels sorry for opposing left tackles on an Aggie Saturday. You get Cassius, Rylan, TJ, Monday through Friday. On Saturday, do you ever feel a little bit sorry for the left tackles on the other team?
I definitely do, because I know what they put me through in practice. So I know, I honestly do feel bad for them sometimes, because, I know when they pin their ears back in a game that they have no mercy for sure.
Trey Zune on the Conversations podcast also had a chance to talk to Coley Fayu. Those are there on Studio 12, as long as Texas A&M Football, the YouTube page. It's been great to sit down with those players, and we're going to have a sit-down, and it'll be coming up soon. It will be with Albert Regis. Community Coffee is proud to be the official coffee and freshly brewed tea of Texas A&M Athletics. Family owned since 1919. Community Coffee has spent 5 generations roasting their blends right here in the USA. Discover more at communitycoffee.com. Sometimes it's pronounced discover more at communitycoffee.com. More of the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Howdy, Ags. Score a taste touchdown at your next tailgate with Hellman's Real Mayonnaise, the official mayonnaise of Texas A&M Athletics. Do dip with Hellman's and do no wrong. Brownsboro, Texas, San Antonio, Springdale, Arkansas, Effingham, Illinois, Lubbock, Bullard, Southeast Georgia, Goldthwaite, Texas, Santa Fe, Franklin, Tennessee, Atlanta, Texas, Palmer, Alaska has checked in. And I wanted to pass this along. We were talking about Mike Elko and his press conference on Monday, shouting out volleyball and playing in Baton Rouge on Friday. And Afenikaza Pala, the All-American volleyball player for Jamie Morrison's top 10 volleyball team. She says, shout out Aggie Football and Coach Elko. That's amazing. Honestly, I have never seen support like that from team to team at any university. And it is all genuine. We'll come back. We'll continue with Mike Elko. We usually do the bridge so he can meet everybody. Still meeting everybody here at Rudy's. It's outstanding, and we thank you all for being here. We'll continue with Mike when we return. The Aggie Football Hour, presented by Capital Farm Credit from Rudy's. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. When you need a new roof or just have a pesky leak, you want to call on the winning team at Schulte Roofing, home of the bulletproof roof guarantee. We continue. The Aggie Football Hour, sometimes with Mike Elko, always presented by Capital Farm Credit. Let's see, more check-ins. Before I do the check-ins, our friend Alan Cannon always sends us updated Texas A&M athletics rankings. And as of October 22nd, 2025, football's at number 3, equestrian's at number 4, women's golf just coming off winning a tournament, number 4, volleyball, 9, men's golf, number 24. AC passing those along to us. They continue to check in from all around. Nacogdoches has checked in. Greenville, South Carolina has checked in. San Salvador, El Salvador has checked in. We have gone international. It's like the UN for our show. Coming around the corner, here he is. This is great. This is great. I hope
you guys enjoyed the Andrew Monaco radio show.
I love one that you get to see everybody, and you meet with them. I love that, and I love the number of people who are here. And I just want to say we've gone international. Belize, Thailand, El Salvador, and New Jersey.
Okay. I don't think New Jersey's international. I don't appreciate that reference.
Some people think that those people are from another country.
They do.
Says a guy who worked and lived in Atlantic City.
Yeah,
so I've
a guy
been
who
there.
Grew up in New Jersey, and you're trying to tell me I'm from overseas.
It's a different country sometimes in there.
I won't tell you what we thought of Texas when we were in New Jersey.
Gotcha.
But I've seen the light. I'm now in Texas. I'm officially a Texan now. My son is officially a Texan. He only wants a truck, so he's locked in as a Texan. He's coming back here after college.
Awesome.
So y'all have won him over. You kind of basically converted him in his 4 years here when I was the defensive coordinator.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
you always find your way home.
Always
find your way home. Travis, class of 67. Coach, the mindset of playing to win was evident in your decision to call several plays on 4th and short. Well done. E.J. Smith, in particular, was exceptional. Your comments, please.
My real comments? First of all, thank you. I'll start there. Thank you. It's always the gauntlet we live on, right? It's you make the decisions that you think are the best ones at the time, and when they work out, they're really smart ones, and when they don't, they're not. And that's the reality of the profession I've chosen, and I'm very well aware of that. And so, we went into that. Like, the one thing I think that maybe people don't recognize is how much of that stuff is predetermined. We have a really good feel for what our plan is going into it, and we knew our biggest advantage in that game was our offense against their defense, and we knew points were going to be needed to win that game. I wasn't thinking we were going to need 45, but we certainly thought it was going to be in the mid to high 30s that it was going to take to win that football game. And so possessions become really important. And so when we got into those situations, we had developed a really good plan. Colin did a phenomenal job creating the short yardage plan, and we were able to go out and execute it.
Again, that second effort, he still had to get through. He still had to get through 2 Arkansas tacklers to get that first down.
No, and it's we always talk about 3rd and 1 being a mentality. It's a mentality that we're not going to be stopped, and that the offensive line is going to create push, and the backs are going to find holes, and that's how you want it to go. And sometimes that's not how it goes, and sometimes you just got to find a way. And EJ certainly found a way, and in a lot of ways won us a football game.
As we look ahead to LSU, and you were asked this on Monday, and it's seemingly asked every week about Marcel Reed and the confidence and all of this. But the difference in 1 year under Marcel, and you told us in the spring, he understands what goes into being QB1 in the SEC. Mike, it's more than just playing on a Saturday. Everything that comes with that means he's got to be at his best Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and you know, you're seeing it now with the pressures of media and the media stuff that he's got to do, and he becomes the face of your program, and that's what happens when you're a really talented quarterback in this conference. And he's got to balance all of that with being a kid who's got to go to school and do all of his schoolwork and get himself prepared and ready to go every Saturday. And so, we saw the maturation for sure, and we saw the development for sure, and we knew he was in a much better place. And then you just hope that it goes out and he has the results so that the confidence continues to build, and that's kind of what's happened.
And that's the confidence, not just in himself, and first and foremost, that's huge, but the confidence in that offensive line and those tight ends and the wide receivers and the running backs, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're starting to see the timing continue. Like, I think the timing continues to improve. I think the last 2 games, the timing got a lot better, even than where it was in the beginning of the year, and that's confidence, right? And the passing game is so fickle in terms of what makes a good play and what makes a bad play, and so much of it is throwing the ball in the right time, in the right spot, in the right area, and a lot of it is anticipation and trust. And I trust that he's going to come out of this break and be in the right spot, and before I see it, I'm going to deliver it, and that's starting to happen more and more, and that will only make him more and more dangerous.
And this is not negative. Sometimes, or he's really learned, not sometimes, he's learned that you live to play another play, right? Yeah. Sometimes you throw it away. We as fans are like, oh, what are you doing? No, you don't want the interception there. You don't want to force anything, right? That's also a maturation, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, and especially when you're on the road. And we talk a lot about this. Like, turnover margin's critical. Sometimes Kyle Field can help us overcome a shortcoming in turnovers at home. When you go on the road, the momentum that creates, the energy that creates, turnovers are massive when you talk about going to win road games, and that's something that we've been pretty good at in our time here and need to continue if we're going to have success down the stretch the way we want to.
Internally, the way you all judge, is a turnover on downs like a turnover?
To some degree. I think it depends on what the drive looked like. We calculate like first downs, so if offensively we go out there and we get 2 first downs, like, we feel like that's a successful drive, and that creates some level of game control. And when we talk about efficient drives, we would grade that to be efficient. And so, if you go out and you get 3 first downs and then you get stopped on downs, that in some ways isn't a turnover. But, if you go out on the first drive of the game and you go for it on 4th and 1 and you get stopped on downs, that's for sure going to feel like a turnover and count like a turnover. So I think it kind of depends on where it is within the drive.
It can be a momentum thing, too.
Always, for sure.
Absolutely. One more segment of the Aggie Football Hour with Mike Elko. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Rudy's is a proud sponsor of Aggie Football. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, Rudy's signature sauce. One final check-in. Tokyo, Japan has checked in.
How about that?
Yeah. Any jobs open in Tokyo? So I guess, which one are you taking? Penn State, Oklahoma State? You taking Florida? You taking... Virginia Tech.
This is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing now. This is my radio show. This is what we're doing.
That's exactly right.
How about the Texas A&M one? Can I have that one? Can I keep this one?
Yes,
right.
That's what we want.
All right, let's do that.
That's what we want.
Let's
you know
do
why?
that.
Because you got old Sarge carrying the football.
Well, I wear old Sarge all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't here's a good thing for this is only the people at the radio show get this. So you come out to the radio show, you get the real scoop. Why don't you go talk to the boss lady back there and ask her a question about where we might be going and see what she says.
Fans do not. Yeah. Nowhere else but here. Yeah. Fans do not understand, and they need to. You can talk to all the coaches and the agents that you want. If you don't talk to the wife,
yeah, that's a bad move. It's like recruiting. It's the number one thing you have to do in recruiting is you got to identify the decision maker.
Yeah.
And if you can win over the decision maker, you've got a chance to get the recruit. The decision maker in the Elko household's back there. It's not sitting up here. The one up here don't have anything to do with anything. So the one back there makes all the calls and all the decisions.
Next week, you know what? We're going to have a show. It's going to be the Aggie Football Hour with Michelle Elko.
There you go.
Presented by Capital Farm Credit.
The queen of Aggie Land.
That's exactly what you. Speaking of, how about Miss Rev? She was decked out for that weather.
She was. Miss Rev never fails to disappoint. She won me over. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Miss Rev, right? How can you not be? You're an Aggie. But when she came out with the eye patch.
Oh, my gosh, that was the greatest.
That was like me and Miss Rev were locked in forever.
That was the greatest.
Moment. I was like, okay, so she's taking part in the blackout now. Like, okay, we're in this thing together now.
So with Rev 9, that was Travion Williams. I mean, they were close.
Okay.
And now this is Tor. I've joked with Torian York. He's like a fanboy around her.
And
I love it.
I love
absolutely
it. That's awesome.
She deserves all of that. So do those two players as well. What do you want to see on Saturday as you go into Baton Rouge against LSU?
Yeah, I mean, we got to handle the elements. I think that's the biggest thing. I think we've gone down there as a program on multiple occasions and not had success because we haven't been able to handle the elements the right way. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be moments where that stadium makes it feel like what we're trying to get done is impossible. And it's going to be the challenge to our 74 on that sideline to be locked in and focused on the task at hand and be able to go out there and make the plays we got to make to win the football game.
Coach, it was 2019, obviously. That was a historic college football team there. But in 21, you're very close.
Very close.
And a call that, if it goes the correct way, the Aggies have that ball. And this is what I say. They called the turnover, and it wasn't a turnover. But if Trey Palmer had come out and run for a touchdown there, would they have made the same call? That's all I'm saying. That. But you've been close, and then 2 years ago, I know you weren't here. You were hired after that.
Yep.
The Aggies had the lead going into the third quarter until a turnover, and then Jaden Daniels was Jaden Daniels. It's not enough, though, to just play close.
No, and that's what I mean to some degree by overcoming the elements.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't make the right call, if they don't give us the right opportunity, if they don't give us the right break, we got to go make it. Right, and we got to go make it. And so, you know, what I remember about the game in 21 is we didn't get it done on the 2-minute drive to win the game. And that's what I remember. And all of those other things certainly happened and played a role. But that's how I want our program thinking. Like, that's what I want our program to be focused on is how are we going to go out there, take the field when it's time, and make the plays we need to make to win the games. We've done it so far. We got to keep doing it.
And you never know which is going to be the most important play, so it's the next one.
It's the next one.
Always. That becomes the most important.
Always. It's the end and grind, right? It's the now, right? It's the only thing that you can actually have control over. And so stay dialed in. It's going to be it sounds like it's going to be a wet night and a soggy night and whatever. Put a ball down and we'll be there and let's get ready to play.
Thank you for all being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a great crowd. I appreciate all the support, and we'll take anybody coming down to Tiger Stadium this weekend. We'll take you all. We need every Aggie we can get in that stadium. It's going to be a big night for us. We got to go get it done. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Gig 'em.
It will be a 5:30 pregame show, Memorial Hermann pregame show against LSU on Saturday all along our network. 6:30, that's what they think. It's going to be a 6:49 foot to ball. That will be the actual kick. And it is the feature game on Saturday night. The third-ranked Fighting Texas Aggies, 20th-ranked LSU. We will talk with you then. Tony O'Neill's the producer of Aggie Football. Kevin Menschau's our engineer. For head coach Mike Elko, I'm Andrew Monaco. We thank you so much for joining us. Thanks and gig 'em. This is Aggie Football from Learfield.
You've been listening to the Aggie Football Hour, brought to you by Capital Farm Credit, a leader in agricultural financing. Also brought to you in part by Coors Light, Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Twisted Tea, hard iced tea for the 12th man. Please drink responsibly. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. Through it all. And by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Texas A&M Sports Network.